Family Court Judge Department C. Judge Jones, we had one of our guys go out and audit you in court, and what they saw is, what they wanted to know was, how do you feel about a defendant in court representing themselves without counsel? If you could please remember that you are on radio, so let them know you're.
Bio.
No, I wanted to ask this question first, and then after that, go ahead and start off with a bio about yourself, and then pass the mic, please.
Okay, this is Judge Jones, and you know, I welcome the opportunity to have anybody come in the courtroom because that's the time that they have to actually represent themselves and present their case, and it's becoming a more common occurrence in today's economy because, quite candidly, the cost of an attorney is somewhat discouraging and cost prohibitive, and so we're getting more individuals that are representing themselves. And I believe that the public should have the confidence in the judiciary to understand that if the facts and the law support them, that they're going to prevail, whether or not they do or do not have an attorney. Quite candidly, though, it does put a little more of a burden on the judicial officer, because then we have to make inquiries as to the relevant facts that we would need in order to make an informed decision, and generally that falls on the shoulders of an attorney that would obviously guide their client through the question and answer period and any supporting documentation that they have.
And starting with you, Judge, could you start off with a short bio about yourself, and then pass the mic, please?
Okay, and you prefer that we start out every time by saying I'm Judge Jones and proceed? I'll start with law school. In law school, I excelled. I received the American Jurisprudence Award in both contracts and torts. I received the Dean's Award in juvenile law. After law school, I clerked for the Nevada Supreme Court, actually clerked for a number of the Supreme Court justices up there when their clerks left early. I then came down and had private practice. I became partners with Stuart Bell and Michael Davidson. I then was appointed to a domestic relations referee, so I was actually family court before family court was created. I was in that position for about 2 years. I was one of the original 6 judicial officers for family court when it was created. I was the first chief judge over the family division when it was created. I've subsequently assumed that role again in the past, and I have held that position, I guess, I'm going on my 18th year. So I've been on the bench for about 20 years now. Thank you.
Hi, Maria Mascal. I grew up in British Columbia, Canada, although I am a United States citizen, and I went through law school in California, and I feel absolutely blessed to be here in the United States. And quite honestly, I think that people who grew up in the United States don't really truly understand how fortunate and how blessed they are to live here. I went through a 2-year law school program at California Western, and then I worked for the Federal Communications Commission in Washington, D.C., after which I started with the Superior Court of the District of Columbia, representing indigent clients in criminal, through the Criminal Justice Act program. And I was there for 8 years before moving here to Las Vegas. I worked with Judge Cynthia Diane Steele in the family court, and I have lived here for the last 13 years. I am celebrating my 20th year as an attorney. Can't believe that I've been doing this for this long, but I've lived here in Las Vegas now for 13 years. Absolutely love it. I am so very fortunate to live here. And I believe, I think the question earlier was whether or not clients, or how the judge feels about clients representing themselves in family court. I believe strongly that individuals should be able to represent themselves in family court, and I have spent a great deal of time helping individuals have access to the family courts. I was on the Pro Se Council Committee assisting the council to create forms for individuals to have access to the family court. Those forms are now available online and at the Self-Help Center at the family court. I've also worked closely with the Southern Nevada Self-Help Center, or I'm sorry, the Southern Nevada it's changed its name, I can't remember, it's the Pro Bono Association, And since 1999, I've won awards through the Pro Bono Association pretty much every year. I believe strongly that families need a strong judge with a compassionate heart. I'm here today to request your vote and your endorsement. And if you have any other questions, I look forward to answering them. Thank you.
Hi, Judge Jones. How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
My name is Heidi Hanusa. I'm a family therapist. So I have concerns from emails that we have received before the panel, and I'm speaking on behalf of abused women groups at this point. It came to my attention that in 2005, a lot of information that was supposed to be handed down to the judges electronically is no longer being handed to them. So a lot of criminals, people who've been in domestic violence situations or have TPO orders or have been abusive to their children, it has not been in the computer as far as the judges are concerned because they can't find it. They don't know it's there. I have information on a sheet of paper that explains it in length, but now that if you read this and now you're privy to that information, what are your duties to find out what these men or boyfriends have done in listening to the person in front of you, the woman who is presenting with information that you don't have in front of you? What is your job at that point? How do you handle that? Knowing that before 2005, you're not privy to a lot of information that may be in the system. Are you aware of that?
I know that there was some difficulty with the exchange and the coordination of information between not only departments, but between the clerk's office and the different filing systems that they had in the first place. That was one of the major reasons behind the formation of Odyssey, the complete revamping of the clerk's office, is to make sure that we have the free exchange of information and the sharing of information in files. And so now when we pull up a file, it's supposed to give us any and all related cases, whether it's in sealed files, confidential files, whether it's a juvenile file, whether it's a criminal file, or even a civil file. Any related case now is supposed to come to our attention. And obviously, as a judge, it's our determination to find out all the facts that are relevant so that we can make an informed decision. And so a lot of the times, I mean, attorneys are skilled at presenting the evidence in the light most favorable to their client. And so our responsibility is, one, to not only listen to that evidence, but also to have a heightened awareness of what's not being said, and not to be blindly led, because a lot of the times it's the things that are not being said that will either, one, cue you on to those areas of inquiry that should be made, or to identify those areas that should actually be addressed. And so I think that as a judge, if you have a true desire to make those decisions that are best, you have that corresponding responsibility to make those inquiries. And so obviously, if there is information out there that's not being presented and it is highly relevant to the administration of justice, that's why you're before us. That's why we're elected. We are elected so that you have the confidence that we will consider those factors and make the appropriate determination.